Hey, good morning from Milan. It's Jeff with Beyond the Rings ground team, report number 14 here from Milan, Cortina 2026 Winter Olympics. Uh, every day is different in Milan. Yesterday was sunny, got up to about 55. Beautiful day, easy day to be out and about. Today, it's raining most of the day. It's let up a little bit actually right now. It's been raining quite a bit. And that really puts a hamper on our opportunities. But we have opportunities in front of us. We always do every day. And it's colder again today, too. You may not see it, but that's my breath. It is currently 40 degrees here. And so it's incredible. We're 14 days in now. You may not be aware of this, but from the opening to closing ceremonies is 17 days. Friday night to a Sunday night. And so it's a little over 2 weeks. It's long, but it's exciting because there's so many different things happening between the different sports, the different countries. One of the interesting things about being here in Milan is because it's such a tourist destination. We are encountering people now in front of the Duomo uh, Plaza that are just tourists. In fact, yesterday I couldn't help but make note and look around that there were a lot of Asians out and about yesterday. And I was caught off guard by that because while I've seen some Asians, there were a lot yesterday. And so I probably shared, I don't know how many times, 10 different times with 10 different couples, groups, people from Asia, most from China. And I finally asked one of the younger ones, young adult, I'm like, why do you think there's so many Asians out and about? And she's like, I don't know, but maybe because it's Chinese Lunar New Year holiday. And I'm like, well, of course, Chinese New Year started on the 17th. We're just in the beginning of that now. Um, and so many of them, in fact, it's often the largest travel time for the Chinese people from mainland China. And so many of the people we encountered yesterday that I encountered were from Beijing, who'd come on holiday, not because of the Olympics, but it's nice that the Olympics are here while they're in Milan. And so it's really an interesting change of dynamic in that while we strategically chose to be in Milan for the duration of the Olympics, even though it's Milan, Cortina, shared city hosting the games, there's really four different locations. And the other locations are up on the mountains where there's snow. It's all the outside events like downhill skiing and jumping and bobsled and all things like that. So by choosing to stay in Milan, we were dealing specifically with indoor events, and some of those are beginning to wrap up now and conclude. Kind of like the one of the big ones left is, of course, hockey, and so we're following closely USA's bid to fight for a gold in both men's and women's, and enjoying that experience as Americans and sports fans and Olympic fans. But all the time, all the way, everywhere we go, looking for ways to share the gospel. Great example of how you never expect is we decided to stop and take a lunch break late yesterday afternoon. We do late lunches, and we make our way to a cafe, and it's still full at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And as we enter the small, pretty crowded cafe, half of it was outside under a tent with heaters, and half of it was kind of inside immediately because of my hat and my pins and pointing his pins. They started asking us questions. There were some Canadians sitting there. There was some Dutch, and there was another Canadian family. And we ended up sharing with them even before we could get our menus open and start ordering our lunch. And so it's incredible how powerful the pin uh, can be in opening up conversations. Um, and so our hope and prayer is to make the most of every one of those opportunities we have. And so today, as we go back out again for day number 14 on the ground, the window is closing and closing and closing. We only have today and 3 more days to be on the ground here in Milan for such a time as this, for this unique time in history and place to engage with people from all over the world. And so pray for us as we go out about today, and that we would stay dry, because we don't want to get out and get wet and be soaking wet and get a cold or get sick or anything else in these final days. And as we begin to think about flying back home early next week, I would ask you to a special prayer, as I think about home, that you pray for our families, Tony and mine both, who have been without us for a long while. And it's a significant sacrifice on our wives and our children back home. And so please continue to think of them. Christine is my wife. Julie is Tony's wife. We still have a stay-at-home, a daughter at home in high school, Joy Lee, and Tony has young adult children. And so continue to pray for the families as a whole. And again, we are extremely grateful for the opportunity to be witnesses for Christ, always, but especially here in Milan for such a time as this. So thank you for being a part of the support team back home as you pray, as you have given or give to future ministry efforts, as we will be, by God's grace, and leading and providing in LA for the entirety of the 2028 Summer Olympic Games. That's our next stop on the Olympic pin trading evangelism ministry goal. And as you tell others about it, when you share these videos, when you share the posts, when you comment, all those things, I don't know how it works, but all those things help in the algorithm of spreading the word. And I will say this, that through that, I've heard from many, many old friends who have commented and posted. And it does help to keep the message going forward. And most importantly, not only pray for opportunities for us to have yet today, but pray for every single one of those pins that have gone out thus far. At this point, we believe we're right at about 2,000 pins have gone out, have been shared, representing gospel conversations, gospel impacts, gospel moments. And so pray for every single one of those that have gone out, that as they scan the code, as they recall our encounter, as they get exposed to the gospel again and again and again, that God would use the Beyond the Rings, Milan Cortina, BTR pin, and our encounters with them to draw them close to himself. So thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for your love, your encouragement. And until tomorrow, this is Jeff from Milan, BTR Ground Team, Italy. God bless.